Hi, Junior with today's thought. And I suspect that I piqued at least a little bit of interest and maybe even a little bit of anger, maybe a lot of anger for the title to today's thought. And maybe some of you are thinking that I've gone a little loco, had a little bit of loco weed, though I don't know where I would get it here in Tennessee. But indict Barack Obama for murder. Are you serious? And yeah, I'm serious. Allow me to explain. Now, the reason this is my thought for today is because of a court decision that just came out this morning, the morning of the day I'm recording this, the day before you're seeing it. A federal appeal court has rendered a decision, ruled that Donald Trump is not immune from prosecution for, while he was president, this is the charge from Jack Smith, attempting to overturn the election. Now, we can go into the issue of whether he was, whether he did that or not, separate issue. The main thing is that Trump said, this was an act as I was, while I was president, I'm immune from prosecution for doing that. Actually, just for questioning the election is what he really did. But I'm going to go off on a tangent here because he is the chief law enforcement officer, and if he believes that the election was stolen or rigged or whatever, I would think he would have an obligation as a chief law enforcement officer to at least look into it. That's number one. Now, I understand that that Bill Barr, the Attorney General at the time, said, I don't see anything. I didn't see any problems. Well, I don't know how you reach that conclusion within 24 hours. But the point is that it's not Bill Barr, or wasn't Bill Barr's call. He works for Donald Trump, for the President of the United States at that time. It's his call. But I'll stay off on my tangent here, that this whole idea of wanting to overturn the election, to me, I'm not a lawyer, full disclosure, but to me, it would boil down to motive. Trump would have to say, I know I lost the election, I'm going to try to reverse the result. But every statement he's made, there's no reason to believe that, to this day, that he does not sincerely believe that the election was stolen. So there's no motive there. But the point I'm getting to is that if he is not, and there will be an appeal, by the way, what will happen is that Trump, he could go right to the Supreme Court, but if I were he, I wouldn't do that. I would first go for what they call an en banc hearing, which would be, this was a 3-judge panel that made this decision. So it would be the full court of, I believe, 11 judges that would hear the whole case. And then they would decide and then go to the Supreme Court, because it's just that's the regular process. That's what I would do. And it's probably what the Supreme Court would want anyhow. I suspect that they wouldn't even hear the case. I could be wrong on that until it had gone through the whole process. But the point is, if a president is not immune for acts that, even an illegal act that, just assume that it's legal, okay, for this argument. Assume that it's perfectly legal. The point is that you can still indict. People are indicted all the time, unfortunately, for crimes they did not commit. And you have a trial, and then it's the accused, the defendant, is found not guilty. But that's after getting into debt for hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly, maybe even millions, to lawyers for the defense, plus the time, the damage to your reputation in the meantime, yada, yada, yada. So what I'm getting to is, I don't know if you recognize one of the thumbnail for this vlog. There are 2 people in it. Obviously, one of them is Barack Obama, former president. Who is that other person? You may not remember him, or you may not even have paid much attention at the time. He is Anwar al-Awlaki. He was residing in Yemen. He was suspected to be an operational leader. That was a term, operational leader of Al-Qaeda, and Barack Obama ordered a drone strike on him, and he was killed. He was killed. He was riding in a car, and drone strike killed him. Okay, so you would say, what is the big deal about that? Going after an enemy, don't we do that all the time? And strike, well, for instance, the famous case, the most prominent one, Donald Trump killing Qasem Soleimani. Okay, so we all know about that one. No problem there. So what's the problem with Barack Obama? This is the problem. Anwar al-Awlaki was an American citizen. He was an American citizen, and you could suspect him of being an Al-Qaeda operative. He's entitled, or he was entitled, to due process of law, 14th Amendment. He was an American citizen, and Barack Obama ordered a drone strike on him. His direct order. He ordered the murder. That's what it is. It's because we were not, and we still not, even with the retaliatory measures that we're taking against Yemen, the Houthis right now. We are not, and we have never been, and we're not at that time at war with Yemen. There was no. He was entitled. He was an American citizen. That's the bottom line, and Barack Obama ordered his killing, and that is murder. So if I were, or I could be wrong, let's just assume that I am wrong. The point is, the point that Donald Trump made. Now, every president has to be, going forward, if this decision holds, has to be very self-conscious of what he does. He says, if I order this, it sounds, all my advisors say this is legal, but if I'm a Democrat, then maybe what stops a Republican president, his Justice Department, from indicting me, even though I'm innocent, and I can be tied up in court, go through a trial, go through and if I'm found guilty in the first trial, numerous appeals, and so on and so forth. So it ties the hand of a president. That's the whole point of immunity. And just as we have this saying, better to let 10 guilty people go than to falsely convict an innocent person. So these laws, there's balances. There's balances that maybe a president may do something illegal, and then if the decision is overturned on appeal, then he could do something and get away with it. But that's the balance that you have. Okay, on the one hand, and the example that in that trial, before the panel, one of the judges adduced this example. He said, could the president order the assassination of his political rival? And that was, he could have adduced the example of what Barack Obama actually did, ordering a drone strike on al-Awlaki. But he didn't adduce that. He adduced, could the president order the assassination of his political rival? And, well, the answer would be yes. But you can see how extreme an example. I mean, what are the odds that a president actually would do that? What are the odds that a president would actually do that? So they have to adduce this really absurd example. That's number one. But number two, that is the balance. You're weighing the odds against a president ordering the assassination of his political rival against the odds of a president being indicted for something he did in office that may have been perfectly legal and perfectly legitimate. And that well, it's not that. The balance is a president, the real balance that you have to make, or the weighing of the options, or option one, a president orders the assassination of a political rival, and on the other hand, a president being afraid to do anything at all that he would have to fear that he could be indicted for by a future president. So there you go. And, if you have a Donald Donald Trump, who believes that the election was stolen, that he's being, as I do, that he's being wrongly persecuted in all these trials. It's lawfare. They're all political. They're all brought by Democrats, Democratic operatives, Democratic attorneys general, just Democrats in heavily Democratic areas where the odds of Trump getting a fair, or any Republican getting a fair jury for a trial with political implications is just about zero. So that's what this is all about. And so if you're the President Trump and you win in 2024 and you have 2025 and you have a legitimate case for murder, you have a legitimate case for a grand jury indicting, put it that way, he should have no trouble getting an indictment, however the trial turns out. And given what's been done to Donald Trump, I could not blame him at all if he did. And I guess I also could not blame all of you. In fact, I would praise you if you subscribe to this vlog. That's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could, share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it, that would be great too. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.